Jeanie Hennebery loves her family, and when you meet her, you discover very quickly that her children and grandchildren are the light of her life.
I live here in Brooksville, Florida. I have 2 children, 3 grandchildren, and I live here with my husband. I like to garden. I haven't been able to really do that in the past as much as I would have liked to. Of course, shopping and running after the grandchildren.
But she had an accident in 2014 that did irreversible damage to her neck. We had the chance to sit down with Jeanie before she began her Bonati spine procedures. She told us about the accident and the subsequent problems it caused.
I was involved in an automobile accident in March of 2014. I broke my neck in 2 places, dislodged 2 discs, wore a hard collar for 13 weeks, and when I went back, the fractures had healed and the 1 disc went back. The other one, I was told, couldn't go back on its own because I had skimmed the membrane on the spinal cord. So they had to do surgery and replace the disc. And they put in the disc and everything, and then when I went back and had another CAT scan, it showed that it did not fuse in the back.
In addition to her physical issues, her relationship with her new grandchildren also suffered.
I will never ever get over the fact that I couldn't bond with them the way I would have liked to when they were born. One was born 3 days after the accident, and the other one was 2 months after that. And, I wasn't allowed to lift them, and I was too afraid to hold them because I have no feeling in this hand. And these fingers are all numb, and I just wouldn't trust myself holding them. So the bonding was different with those 2 than with my first. But we're working on it, we're getting there.
While in the trauma center after her accident, Jeanie was told she would need surgery, but they were unable to accommodate her until June. When the surgery finally happened, it did not provide the relief she was looking for.
After that surgery, I continued to have some pretty intense pain, only because everything was still so sore and everything from the accident and then the surgery, and it was horrible, actually. I was very limited in what I could do, and the pain was pretty intense. I had major problems like looking down, and it would be so bad I'd have to hold my head up. It was like a real heavy feeling I was getting. And the only way to relieve it basically was to sit down in a high back chair where I could rest my shoulders and my neck back. It just gave me a sense that I had lost my independence. I couldn't drive, I couldn't shower. I'd have to depend on somebody to be there with me. It was just a whole different life.
Deciding she would not allow herself to continue living in this painful condition, Jeanie made an appointment at the Bonati Spine Institute after referrals from friends and family members.
My son had a back surgery done, and he had complications from it, and he went to Dr. Bonati. He was very successful. He still has no problems with his back. He can do things today that he couldn't do before either.
She began a treatment plan in 2016, and when we followed up again with her after her procedures, she described her surgical experience using the conscious IV sedation.
During the surgeries, some of it I felt like I had no memory of, but when they asked me a question, I could answer them. If I was feeling anything, I was able to let them know, and then they'd want to know where. You get through the surgery and you're fine, and you don't have that anesthesia hangover that you get if they really knocked you out. It was just like somebody waking me up and telling me, get up. And I would get up and walk. Dr. Bonati tried to get me to run down the hallway, but I didn't get that far. But I felt good. My first surgery that I had done in the hospital took me a longer time to get over that. I felt that it was more painful than what I had done with Dr. Bonati. There's a difference of day and night between the two.
Jeanie is now reclaiming her independence and getting back to life her way.
The one thing that got me the most after all my surgeries was being told I couldn't drive. To me, I just had to stay home all the time unless my husband was here to take me somewhere, and I couldn't do any housework. I couldn't run the vacuum. I couldn't do anything that involved me looking down. That's basically all better now. I can get back to doing things around the house, and I drive all the time, go shopping all the time. Had I been the type of person that truly believed in every doctor and accepted the fact what the first guy said, I hate to think of where I'd be today. I'm not that kind of a person that can just sit back and do nothing. And I've had several people tell me that they can't get over the difference in me because at one point they said, you really look like you were at death's door. Now, having the surgeries done and everything, I'm getting back to being myself. I'm getting back to being independent and being able to do what I want to do instead of sitting inside on a lift chair, because I couldn't even get up out of a regular chair. I'd still be in there sitting there or lying down under the ground if I waited on believed in the first doctor.
Her relationship with her grandchildren has already improved, and she looks forward to the future.
It was a very good feeling holding them for the first time when I could, because I just felt that I lost time with them. The two little ones were kind of back offish a little bit. There wasn't that bond that I had with my older grandchild. It was almost like they didn't know who I was, or they were afraid of me or whatever. Now they're great, and it was wonderful to hold them for the first time where I wasn't afraid that I would drop them because my arm would give out.
If you're looking for answers about your pain, or if you feel more can be done than what your current physician is telling you, Dr. Bonati and the Bonati Spine Institute staff are here to help.
I would like to tell people that, if they're having an issue, they need to address it and go see him and go over everything and let him explain, ask your questions, rather than sit there in pain. I found him to be very sincere and down to earth, and the way he put up the MRI pictures and all that stuff and went over all the detail, it made me feel even more comfortable. It's like I said earlier, that other doctor, had I just taken his word for it, I'd be in really bad shape today. So it's well worth the trip and the time to go and have it evaluated with Dr. Bonati.